Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lane and as you know I'm kind of a weirdo who thinks about Pokemon way too much, and I've been thinking about all of those significant characters throughout the Pokemon franchise who usually use one Pokemon as their ace Pokemon or strongest Pokemon throughout their in-game appearances. So with that, we're going to go ahead and cover the later half of the Sinnoh region, or anyone who's not a gym leader or Elite Four member. And yeah, with that, let's get started. And of course, I will be adding in some rules just so I don't get comments about not including trainers like Youngster Joey. Each trainer needs to have a special character model, must have no more than 3 Pokemon tied for the same highest level. This rule really doesn't come into effect super frequently, but with trainers like Elite Four members and Frontier Brain, sometimes they have full teams tied for the same highest level, and that just makes it a little bit more difficult to see like any patterns with their ace Pokemon. The final rule is that I will only be using the last battle before the champion battle and then any other rematches after the champion battle. That way I'm not mentioning the rival team for every single battle. They need to make their first appearance in the games that this region takes place as well. So even though Looker appears in Hoenn, Unova, Kalos, Alola, his first appearance is actually going to be in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, so he's going to be included here and not in those videos. Just like the Hoenn video, we do have a very large list of characters including gym leaders, Elite Four members, champions, rivals, stat trainers, Team Galactic members, Frontier Brains, and your mom? Yeah, she's here. We move on to the hyperactive rival Barry of Twin Leaf Town. He, like other rivals, are fought many times throughout the game, so as previously stated, I will only be covering the last battle before the Elite Four and then any rematches after this. The first battle we will discuss will be in the Sinnoh League in Diamond and Pearl, where his strongest Pokemon will be his starter level 53. Then after beating the league 20 times, he can be rebattled and his starter is now at level 74. Similarly to his Diamond and Pearl appearance, he will be battled at the Pokemon League in Pokemon Platinum, where his ace is again his starter, but this time at level 51. He can be battled in this game after only 10 rematches, where his starter has been increased up to level 75. Then he can be rematched after 20 wins in the league, and this is his final battle with his starter being at level 85. The next time we see him is in the same 2 battles in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, where in the first battle at the Sinnoh League, his Pokemon is at level 55, and then after the 20th rematch, it is at level 74. Then out of all of the preset teams for Barry, in his double section of the Battle Tower, his most commonly used Pokemon is once again his starter Pokemon. He does, of course, have one Pokemon Masters appearance where Barry uses the sync pair with his Empoleon. So Barry, like most rivals, will use his starter Pokemon the most, which will be his starter Pokemon, leaning on Empoleon the most frequently. Next, we move on to Lucas and Dawn, who are essentially the same character. Neither of them were battleable in their initial games of Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, due to them just being the assistants to Professor Rowan. However, in the post-game of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, we are actually able to fight them on 2 separate occasions. They do have the weekend battles where the teams will depend on who the player character is and their starter Pokemon that you pick. However, their ace is consistent. It will be the starter Pokemon, and it is at level 64. Then they will have another rematch once you complete the league 20 times, where their starter is now boosted up to level 74. They do also appear in Pokemon Masters, where Lucas only has one sync pair that was actually just recently released, that being Dialga. Dawn actually has 3 sync pairs, where her initial one is with her Turtwig, and this will eventually evolve into a Torterra. Then she does have a holiday outfit where she's paired with an Alcremie, and her final sync pair is actually a Cygnus sync pair with a Cresselia. Given all these appearances, it is safe to assume that their signature Pokemon, just like Barry, is their starter Pokemon. We now move to the International Police Officer, Looker. Looker is a character that's actually appeared a lot throughout the Pokemon series, but he's actually never battled. However, he does have a Pokemon in Platinum that does help him solve crimes, and this may have actually ended up costing it its life at some point, which is Krogunk. Like I said, it only ever makes the appearance in the one game, and then it's hinted at in later games, but with this Pokemon actually being recently added to Pokemon Masters, Looker does have a sync pair there as well with his Krogunk. So this Interpol Officer's signature Pokemon is his beloved Krogunk. Rest in peace, dude. Next, we're going to move on to the stat trainers, and first we have the one that has given me nightmares, Cheryl. Now, when I say nightmares, I mean, have you ever seen the Pokemon Generations episode that focused on her and her Chansey going through the Eterna Forest? It's nightmare fuel. It is nightmare fuel. So I haven't included a lot of the multi-battles in Pokemon yet, but this is how the stat trainers are actually introduced, and it's kind of their point in the main story, so I'm going to be including them here. So we are partnered with Cheryl and her level 15 Chansey in the Eterna Forest in our initial meeting in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. This Chansey is again her partner in Pokemon Platinum, but it is at level 20 this time. We next meet her at the Battlegrounds, where she does have a full team of, well, 5, it's not full, and her ace will be her newly evolved Blissey at level 65. She will next appear in BDSP, where she is back in the Eterna Forest with a level 15 Chansey. Next, she appears in the Battle Tower as a partner to Mira in the Double Battle section, where the most commonly used Pokemon is her Blissey and a Porygon Z. Her last appearance is in Pokemon Masters, where her sync pair is with her Blissey. Very fitting that Cheryl, the HP stat trainer, actually has the Pokemon with the highest HP stat as her signature Pokemon, that being Chansey and Blissey. We next have the Aura Guardian. Not him either. Riley of Iron Island, the attack-based stat trainer. In his initial meeting in Diamond and Pearl, he uses a level 34 Lucario as his partner in the multi-battle section on Iron Island. Then he appears again in Pokemon Platinum, where the Lucario has been raised up to level 41. Next, he appears in the Battlegrounds, where his strongest Pokemon is once again his Lucario, but this time at level 65. Then in the Generation 4 remakes, he returns to his level 34 Lucario. His final appearance is in the Battle Tower, where he is partnered with Marley in the double section. He most commonly uses his Lucario and a Salamence this time. With all these appearances, it's pretty obvious that the Aura Guardians, not him, or him, signature Pokemon is going to be his Lucario. We next have the Lost Girl in the Wayward Cave, Mira, the special attack stat trainer. In her initial meeting in Diamond and Pearl, she uses a level 18 Kadabra in her multi-battle with the player. In Platinum, she has been raised up to level 26, and then in her Battlegrounds appearance, her Kadabra is now a fully evolved level 65 Alakazam. Her next appearance is in Pokemon BDSP, where she does return with her level 18 Kadabra. She is next appearing, like all other stat trainers, in the Battle Tower, where she does use her Alakazam and Zapdos the most frequently. So with all these appearances, we can see that Mira uses Kadabra or Alakazam the most frequently. We next have the defense stat trainer and little brother of Elite Four member Flint, Buck. Buck's first appearance is in the post-game of Diamond and Pearl, where he was paired with the player through the incident at Stark Mountain. His Pokemon here is his level 58 Claydol. He returns in Platinum for the same adventure, where this time it is at level 63. This Claydol returns in his Battlegrounds appearance at level 65. He appears again at the Stark Mountain incident in Generation 4 remakes, where his Claydol is once again his ace at level 58. The only commonly used Pokemon in his Battle Tower appearance is going to be his Claydol. So with every appearance to date, his ace Pokemon has been his Claydol, which makes this his signature Pokemon. We now move on to the final stat trainer, Marley, who specializes in speed, and personally is one of my favorite Pokemon character designs. In her initial appearance in the post-game of Diamond and Pearl, where she's partnered with the player through the later half of Victory Road, she uses her level 57 Arcanine as her signature Pokemon. This Arcanine returns in Pokemon Platinum, but is now at level 59. Then in her Battlegrounds appearance, she will again have her Arcanine, but this time it's at level 65. She does return in BDSP, where she does the same thing with the player in the later half of Victory Road, where she again uses her level 57 Arcanine. Then in her Battle Tower appearance, she will use her Arcanine again the most frequently. Her last appearance is in the Pokemon Masters game, where she does return with her Arcanine again as her only sync pair. So with every appearance to date, she does use that Arcanine, so I conclude this is her signature Pokemon. We now move on to the leader of Team Galactic, Cyrus. His first final battle is in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl on the Toposphere Pillar, where his strongest Pokemon will be his level 48 Weavile. Then in his final battle in Pokemon Platinum in the Distortion World, he will again use his Weavile at level 48. He does appear in the post-game of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon as part of the Rainbow Rocket side quest, where this time he uses a level 67 Dialga or Palkia, depending on what game you're playing. His next appearance is in the Sinnoh remakes, where he does return to using his level 48 Weavile where he's battled on the top of Spear Pillar. Unlike the originals, he does appear in the battle tower with his partner as Mars in the double section. His most commonly used Pokemon is going to be a Gyarados. His last appearance will be in Pokemon Masters, where he does use two sync pairs. His initial one is with a Palkia, while his Signa one is with a Darkrai. So given the range of all of his Pokemon, I think the most commonly used one will be his Weavile, which is a good pairing for him. Can't think of Cyrus without thinking of Weavile. We move on to Mars of Team Galactic next, who has battled several times throughout the game. Her last battles in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl show her on top of Spear Pillar, and it is a multi-battle with Jupiter. In this battle, her strongest Pokemon will be her level 45 Purugly. This Purugly is her strongest Pokemon in the same battle in Pokemon Platinum, but this time at level 46. She and Jupiter are fought in the post-game of Pokemon Platinum at Stark Mountain as well, where she does use her Purugly again, but this time at level 60. Her next appearance is in Pokemon BDSP, where in her final battle on top of Spear Pillar, she again returns using a level 45 Purugly. Like previously stated, she does make an appearance in the battle tower. However, she does not repeat any of her Pokemon, so I'm not going to include anything here. With all these appearances, we can conclude that Purugly is her signature Pokemon. We move on to Jupiter of Team Galactic next, who has battled several times throughout the game. Her last battle in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl is where she's battled on top of Spear Pillar in a multi-battle with Mars. In this battle, her strongest Pokemon is going to be her level 46 Skuntank. This Skuntank does return in the same battle on top of Spear Pillar in Pokemon Platinum at level 46. She and Jupiter are fought in the post-game at Stark Mountain as well, where she does return to use her Skuntank again, but this time at level 60. Her next appearance is in Pokemon BDSP, where in her final battle on top of Spear Pillar, she does return to using a level 46 Skuntank. She does appear in the battle tower along with Saturn as her partner, where ironically enough, the most commonly used Pokemon is a Toxicroak. With all these appearances, we can conclude that Skuntank is her signature Pokemon. We next move on to Saturn of Team Galactic, who has battled several times throughout the games. His last battle in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl is where he is battled in the Galactic Hideout. In this battle, his strongest Pokemon is his level 40 Toxicroak. This Toxicroak is his strongest Pokemon in the same battle in Pokemon Platinum, but is at level 44 in this appearance. His next appearance is in Pokemon BDSP, where in his final battle in the Galactic Hideout, he again uses a level 40 Toxicroak. He does appear in the battle tower along with Jupiter as his partner, where the most commonly used Pokemon is a Sharpedo. With all these appearances, we can conclude that Toxicroak is his signature Pokemon. We next move on to the Sinnoh and Johto Battle Frontier. We start with the Tower Tycoon and another Pokemon daddy, Palmer, the Tower Tycoon. As with most battle facilities, all their Pokemon are set to the same level. In Diamond and Pearl, his team for the 21st consecutive battle is his Milotic, Rhyperior, and Dragonite. Then on his 49th consecutive battle, he uses a Regigigas, a Heatran, and a Cresselia. In Pokemon Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, he does have two teams again, but they use prints instead of the battle counts in this game. The Silver Print Challenge team consists of Milotic, Rhyperior, and Dragonite, while the Gold team is Regigigas, Heatran, and Cresselia. You'll see a pattern arise with him. Back to the battle tower in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, he does have several teams again. On the 21st consecutive battle, he uses a combination of 3 different teams, all consisting of Milotic, Rhyperior, and Dragonite. On his 49th consecutive battle, he returns using a Regigigas, Heatran, and a Cresselia on all 3 of his preset teams. He then does appear in the Master class for single battles, where the most commonly used Pokemon for him here is a Dragonite. Then he is paired with his Sunberry for the double section, where the most commonly used Pokemon is a Heatran. So given all these appearances, we can conclude that his signature Pokemon is actually a tie between his Dragonite and his Heatran. Next we move to the factory head Thornton, who just like Nolan has no preset teams in any Pokemon games due to him using rental Pokemon. However, he does make an appearance in Pokemon Masters where his one and only sync pair is a Bronzong. With this being his only appearance, it's safe to say that his signature Pokemon is his Bronzong. We next move on to the beautifully designed character who needs more story and more screen time, arcade star Dahlia. In Dahlia's Silver Print Challenge in Pokemon Platinum, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, she will use a Dusknoir, a Medicham, and a Ludicolo. In her gold print challenge, she uses a Zapdos, Blaziken, and a Togekiss. By my rules, it has to be the Pokemon that she uses the most frequently, which technically she uses all of these once, which is the frequency that they're used, so technically all 6 count. So all 6 of them, it's a 6-way tie. Sorry about it. We next travel to the Battle Castle, which is ran by Caitlin, but the battles are performed by Castle Valet Darek. In his silver symbol battle, he uses a Staraptor, Empoleon, and a Houndoom. In his gold challenge, he uses an Entei, an Empoleon, and a Gallade. His last appearance is in Pokemon Masters, where he does use a Staraptor. With all these appearances, it's actually going to be a tie between his Empoleon and a Staraptor. We next have the final Battle Frontier Brain, Argenta. Now, the Matron Hall does not actually use any set teams, so I don't actually have anything to put here. I just kind of felt bad for not wanting to, I didn't want to leave her out, so here she is, over here. She's a beautifully designed character as well. And finally, our last character that we're going to discuss is our mother, Joanna. Now, Joanna is actually never battled, but she does appear in the Pokemon Super Contest with her Kangaskhan Jumpy. This is the only Pokemon that she's actually known to own, so this is a perfect Pokemon for her, being the motherly Pokemon. Alright you guys, thank you so much for coming to my channel, to my video. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.